Hey guys, what's up? Murphy's Opinions here, and today I'm coming at you with my review of Skyfall, made in 2012 and directed by Sam Mendes. So, the main plot of this film, Bond's mission to keep a computer drive that is the list of British agents from being used against them. He chases the man who has it, and they have a brawl on top of a train. Eve, an agent sent to assist Bond, has him in her crosshairs, but hesitates to take the shot because she might hit Bond. M orders her to do it and takes it, which she does, and Bond falls to his death into a river, or so we believe he is dead. A few months later, the British government is upset with MI6 for losing the list, specifically with M. She is told that she'll be allowed to retire, but she refuses to until the matter is resolved. So she returns to HQ to work, but as she arrives, there's an explosion. In the meantime, Bond, who is not dead, has been laying low. When he learns of what happened, he returns, and M tasks him with finding one of them with the one who has the information. He eventually learns that the man who has it is someone from M's past, who has it in for her. So that's basically the summary of Skyfall. So now let's get into the cast of this film. Daniel Craig once again steps into the role as James Bond, and once again another great performance. I would say this is probably his best performance. It's either between this or the next film that we'll look at. But I think by this film, Bond, his portrayal of Bond, I think he was just so comfortable in the role. And there's definitely, we got to see somewhat more of a humorous side. I mean, it's not like obviously played for comedy all the time, but there's subtle bits of humor in here and there, which I do appreciate. I do sometimes, I think it's hard, especially in kind of James Bond films, to sometimes have humor but not kind of make it ridiculous. So I respect that, and I just think in general Craig here is and is most comfortable so far. Would not say his performances in Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale were bad, they weren't at all, but you can just tell he's just even more comfortable in the role as Bond here, which is usually happens in Bond films, I find. For example, if you look at Connery and Goldfinger, I'd say that's probably his best performance, and that was a couple of films in, that sort of thing. Same with Roger Moore in Spy Who Loved Me and that sort of thing. So I think usually it takes a film or two for Bonds to kind of get used to the role, I think. And then we've obviously got Judi Dench as M, who is, I'd say, probably one of the main characters. Well, she is one of the main characters in this film. She's mainly the highlight of the film. More than she was in Say the World Is Not Enough. And I really like this, actually. I like when they kind of take a character like M and give her more screen time. It's kind of like what they did with Q in License to Kill, but they did it more here with Judi Dench. She's actually playing is the second most important character here, obviously, because she's kind of the main focal point, and I really like her. She's, in my opinion, because of the focus of her on Skyfall, and just in general, I think she's just the best M. I know a lot of people would say probably Bernard Lee, but I just think Judi Dench commands this authority, but she also comes across, especially in this film, much like a mother figure to Bond, which I really appreciate, and I think it's really well done. There's some nice moments, especially towards the end of the film, with her and Bond. And then we've got the villain, Raul Silva, played by Javier Bardem, I believe. If that's pronounced wrong, I apologise. But no, I really love this villain. I think he's one of the best villains of the entire series, really. I'd definitely put him somewhere in the top 10 James Bond villains, I think. The guy is just a complete psychopath, and I really love it. And I think his plan it perfectly suits his character. I think, he's the only real kind of Bond villain I think could probably actually, try the plan that he's doing and actually get away with it, or, actually follow through on it. So, I think it doesn't feel out of character that he's doing this ridiculous, crazy scheme, which I really like. And he's just played so well by Javier Bardem. He just plays him with such, you can tell he's just having so much fun in the role, really. And then we've obviously got one of the, I guess she's a Bond girl. I don't know. She is a sort of a love interest with Bond, but she's not in the film for that much. And that's Severine, I believe it's pronounced, played by, and I'm definitely going to say this wrong, Berenice Malloy. Probably wrong, but again, I'm trying my best here. She's okay. I mean, this is one of the only characters where I just don't think it's not that she's acted badly, but I just would have liked to have maybe seen this character explored a bit more. I don't feel like she's in the film long enough, and we just don't really get to know her as much. I think because from what they did, they kind of, how she was trapped and stuff. I think it could have been quite interesting if we got to know her a bit more, but unfortunately we don't. And then we've got obviously a new Q for the first Q since Die Another Day, which is very weird to think. But he's played by Ben Whishaw, and I think it's really good casting. I think, especially in this day and age, with more how technology's at the forefront of everything these days. It actually makes sense to have a young Q character who kind of knows how to operate all this technology and stuff. And he's really good in the role. Like he's a young guy, obviously, but the way he's played, it's almost like he's so experienced in what he's doing, and I think that he could play Q for a really long time throughout the James Bond series, much like Desmond Llewellyn did. I really do rate Ben Whishaw here as Q. And then we've got Moneypenny, played by Naomi Harris, or as I said in the plot, Eve, because that's what she's called in the film at first, but then we realise her name is Moneypenny towards the end of the film, and she ends up working at the desk. And yeah, I really like Naomi Harris as Moneypenny. I think she has potential to be up there with Lois Maxwell from the Connery days. I think she has a good chemistry with Craig in this film, and she would in the next film as well. Just a really likable character. And then we've got Gareth Malloy, played by Ralph Fiennes, and I really like this character. And he would actually go, and by the end of the film, you realise he is groomed to be the next M once Judi Dench's M dies. And obviously I'll talk more about him in Spectre, because he's actually M in that film. But he's really good in this film, actually. You can definitely see that it's subtly they're trying to groom him to be the next M by having him appear in this film. But yeah, no, I really like him in this film. I think he's a tremendous actor. I mean, he's obviously done some great performances in other films like Harry Potter, for example. And then we've got Kincaid, played by Albert Finney, who's basically in Bond's old house at Skyfall. He's kind of the groundskeeper, I guess. And he's not in the film for that long, but I wanted to talk about him just because I thought he was a really likable character. Again, sort of like he was just sort of it was weird seeing him, going around, trying to help set up and help Bond trying to kill Silver and his men. I thought it was quite funny, actually, and he just seemed like a really nice guy and a really likable character, despite not being in the film for that long. I just wanted to talk about him quickly. So now, let's get on to the score of this film. So Thomas Newman steps in to do the score for this film, and I really do like it, actually. I think, as I said, I do really like David Arnold. He's done some great scores for this, throughout the series, but I do think it was kind of needed that we maybe got someone else in to do the score for the James Bond series. And Thomas Newman does a good job here. I really do like the score in Skyfall. And obviously the title song itself, Skyfall by Adele, one of my personal favourite Bond themes. I think it's just fantastic, and Adele just sings this really well. I really, really like Adele, and I think this is definitely one of her favourite songs, one of my personal favourite Adele songs. But the actual score itself is really well done. I really do like the version of the Bond theme when we see the Aston Martin for the first time in this film. I believe the version of the Bond theme he uses, it's called Breadcrumbs, and it's really well done. One of my favourite Bond theme variations. So we're looking into the kind of the key and favourite scenes of the film. The opening title sequence is really awesome. It's definitely one of my favourites in the entire series. Up there with like The World Is Not Enough and those sort of up there with the best of them. It's just like how it starts off in a room and then it transitions into a motorbike chase and a fight on the train, and it's just so awesome, and it's classic sort of Bond action. It's just really, really well done. And then you've actually got the also I do really like the kind of when Bond's kind of getting back into MI6, he's training and stuff, and they do the word association game. I think that's a really good scene. Just also the scene when we meet Q, that's really cool as well. The interrogation scene with Bond and Silver, I really like this. We see Raoul Silver for the first time, and the whole thing of him trying to intimidate Bond is really awesome, and Bond just completely outdoes him. It's a really, really awesome scene. It's classic Bond, and one of Craig's best moments in the film. Then obviously we've got the fight in the Skyfall house where Silver tries to come and get Bond and M, and that's a really awesome scene. And it ends in the church where M was tragically killed, and that's just really, really sad. And someone who'd been in the series for nearly 20 years, it was just a really sad sight to see. But overall, I think Skyfall was a really great film, a anniversary film done right. It had subtle references to the previous films, but didn't force it down your throat like Die Another Day did, I felt. And a perfect way to have the 50th anniversary of Bond. So thank you guys for watching. Next will be my final Bond review of Spectre from 2015. Give the video a like, comment below, subscribe to my main channel, follow me on Twitter and Ask.fm, and once again, thanks for watching, guys.